Hello, welcome to Gemstone Tarot. Tuesday the 20th, sun going into Aquarius. Hello all the lovely Aquarians. Many drills, many things like that. A different kind of more dental sounding one, which I can't really do an impression of. But it sounds like it's got something loose in it. I know. Anyway, today we are looking at the lovely Fairy Tale Tarot. Yesterday we had King of Cups, and quick recap. It was very interesting, wasn't it? It was about him thinking, I mean, it's all a little bit sort of laudanum situation. It's like a juggler visited me, and then the juggler told me this and gave me 3 wishes, and then I realised I was the druggler, exactly, the druggler. Excuse me. I realised I was the druggler. Yeah. Okay, we know about low-hanging fruit. We know about any kind of fruit bobbing around is not a good idea. So I'm going to assume, what's he got in his hand now? He's got something in his hand as well. I know, but if I know the King of Coins, as my mum calls him, a knob, a bob and a job, he usually comes up trumps. He's not kind of going to turn into a juggler or go all weird on us like the King of Cups in a real... Could have been those 2 shandies that I had last night, but I think I turned into a juggler and then I fondled some peaches. Do you know what I mean? You're like, Right, King of Coins. The King of the Golden Mountain. This is a Grimm's fairy tale. A wealthy merchant lost all his money. One day in the forest he met a small man who told him he would give him a wealth of gold in exchange for handing over, after a period of 12 years, whatever crossed the merchant's path when he got home that day. Well, I mean, if that was mine, I'd be handing over cat sick, because when I got home today there was 2 piles of, like, cat puke with grass in it. So I'd be like, you're welcome to it. I've got 2 lots. The merchant agreed, thinking his dog would probably run to greet him. This is always the same, but the first to greet him was his little son. The merchant shrugged it off, believing surely that the little man was merely playing a joke on him. However, a month later, he found a pile of gold. So now we're in the realm of, and also the mythic tarot. There's a lot of crossover. What's he called? Midas. Okay, you could always just say, you can help yourself to my overdraft if you like. It's all yours. Every penny. Okay, so he realised the bargain had in truth been struck. Yet he was happy with his new wealth and became even richer. And okay, so he swapped his son. Sold his birthright for a mess of pottage, as they say in the Bible. He swapped his son for a stack of gold. Okay. However, at the end of 12 years, father and son sadly went to the agreed meeting spot. Did they agree? Oh yeah, over 12 years. See, I wouldn't have even remembered the 12 years. I'd be awful at this. Taking the advice of a friendly fairy. The boy drew a circle around himself and his father, and the small man was not able to enter. So the man, the merchant, and his son eventually arrived at a compromise. The father was to set his son adrift in a boat, allowing the wind and sea to decide his fate. This was done, and eventually he arrived in a strange land with an enchanted castle, wherein he met a white snake, who was in fact an enchanted princess. In order to release her from her spell, the boy had to endure 3 nights, 3 again, of torture by numerous men, during which he was told he must remain silent. He managed this feat, and the curse was released, and the princess regained her human form, marrying him and crowning him King of the Golden Mountain. After 8 years and the birth of a son, the king wished to visit his father. Okay, so this is now the boy grown up, isn't it? The queen tried to dissuade him. She gave him a wishing ring, which she begged him to use only for himself and not to bring her to his father's land. But the king, when he arrived home, his parents didn't believe that he was now a king. Against the Queen's explicit wish, he touched the ring and made her and their son disappear. This is hereditary. Later, while he was sleeping, she stole the ring from his finger and disappeared with their son. Too ashamed to return home and assuming his parents would think him a sorcerer, he began to travel in search of his new fortune. One day he happened upon 3 giants, 3 again, who he tricked into giving him 3 magic things of power. This triple threat, well, as soon as you know there's 3 of anything. A sword that could behead his foes by uttering the words "heads off" in a magic cloak. He wanted a sword that could cut the heads off his foes just by saying "heads off." That's a bit like the Alexa of swords. A magic cloak of invisibility. Who doesn't want that? I'm going to tell you now, if I was ever like hoofing around the forest, talking to jugglers or whatever, and I was given the 3 wishes, a cloak of invisibility might be very high up there for me. And a pair of boots that could transport the wearer anywhere instantly. Oh, that's amazing too, to be honest. I'd be up for that because I'm scared of planes. The young king immediately wished himself in his kingdom, where he found his wife about to marry another man. A great feast was underway and the Queen was sitting at the head of the table. The king stood behind her, invisible under his cloak. When she took food for herself, he took it away and ate it, and when she poured out wine, he immediately drank it. The Queen was confused and scared and cried out, "Has my deliverer come for me?" The king made himself visible and shouted at her, "Have I deserved this from thee?" The lords and officials at the feast laughed and tried to seize him, but he cried, "All heads off but mine," and the sword instantly beheaded them all. And now, once more, he alone was master, the king of the Golden Mountain. After having sung the praises of the King of Coins for like turning up and for the knob, bob and job and all that, that's not the greatest really. It kind of did not turn out well, and it's more under the sort of Midas thing. So if we're taking this as what does it mean for us in tarot, I'm taking it in terms of when you look at the 4 of Pentacles, for example, and you want to really hold on to something. And it feels like this might connect with yesterday when we had the King of Cups, because in the King of Cups you're kind of gaslighting yourself, or you're fooling yourself, or you're shielding yourself from something. But you can do that when you're holding on to something that you know in your heart of hearts has kind of had its day, or isn't doing you any good, or isn't what it used to be, and is keeping you in some kind of low-grade disappointment. I expected something a bit more wholesome, a bit more whole grain from the King of Coins. He's, you know, he's the man in the glittery library, isn't he, and everything like that. But there he is. He cut off his nose to spite his face, and everybody else's head went with it. He fumbled the ball. He fumbled the ball. He did. So, the message from this: don't cling on to something that isn't worth it. And if you really, really are honest with yourself, are you holding on to something that just isn't a fit? And are you kidding yourself about it? Because often we do. We don't like, you know, giving up on things. Especially you Cancerians. You know what you like about shoes. Just saying. Anyway, let me know. Let me know what you think about that. And also your interpretation in the comments section. And I will see you tomorrow. Namaste.